you've been getting this wrong about faith the entire time. You see, it's not about us mustering up faith in God, but us trusting that God will be faithful. In Mark 1, verse 40, it reads, "And there came a leper to him, beseeching him, and kneeling down to him, and saying unto him, If thou wilt, thou canst make me clean. And Jesus, moved with compassion, put forth his hand and touched him, and said unto him, I will, be thou clean. And as soon as he had spoken, immediately the leprosy departed from him, and he was cleansed." So, a leper comes up to Jesus, and he says, "If thou wilt, thou canst make me clean." So if you will, you can make me clean. The leper did not believe that he can make himself clean. He did not have faith. "Oh, I can do it. I can make myself clean. Jesus, help me make myself clean." It's not what it was. He said, "Jesus, if you want to, you can make me clean." And so Jesus had compassion on him and said, "I will, be thou clean." And as soon as he had spoken, immediately the leprosy, symbolic of sin, left the man from Jesus' word. The sin left, the leprosy left from Jesus' word. That's why we have to be in the Bible. That is what will remind us that we are already approved of. 2 Timothy 2:15. Study to shew thyself approved. To show yourself that God already approves of you. To show yourself that God's already washed you of your sins. He's already with his word cleansed you. With his death on the cross, he was delivered for our offenses and risen again for our justification. So if he was risen again for our justification, then we're already justified. We're already sanctified in God's eyes. It's not a process. The leprosy didn't leave the man in a process. The leprosy left, not by that man's faith in himself, but his faith that God would be faithful, his faith that Jesus could clean him. You don't have to believe that you can make your life better. You don't have to believe that you can do better, but you have to believe that God can do better, that he can work through you. Let's go to Romans 3 for a second. Romans 3:3 says, "For what if some did not believe? Shall their unbelief make the faith of God without effect? God forbid. Yeah, let God be true, but every man a liar." So, our unbelief cannot outweigh God's faith. Tons of people, Abraham specifically, they believed in themselves above what God said. They doubted what God said. They didn't have faith to what God said, but God was faithful to him. But God remains faithful. That man with leprosy, he had not faith that he could heal himself, but that God could heal him, that Jesus could heal him, and that's how he was healed. We have to believe that God can change our circumstance, not that we can change it. It's not about us doing the action, but what actions Jesus already did for us. We cannot cleanse ourselves of sin. We have to go to Jesus. That's why Jesus says, "I am the way." In John 14:6, "I am the way." Not "I am a way," but "I am the way." And that's why in John 1:14, it says, "And the Word was made flesh and dwelt among us." So Jesus is the Word. We have to get more in our Bibles so that we can stop focusing on what we think, what we see, and what we feel, and focus on what God says and what God has promised. Because that's where we will find peace, we will find happiness, and our lives will just exponentially get better. If you want to buy